Everybody, this is Karen and Ray, so I just want to see accessible scamming the O.C.G, and I'm here playing Clive and Range. Oh man, no wonder I fucking missed those. Jeez. Hey, how's it going? I was gonna play Hiding Chronicles, but I'm closing up on the plat for this, so I said, fuck it, might as well just knock it out and it's something I can just jump into, you know what I mean? Only have a few more levels of this, and then some miscellaneous trophies, and bam. Platinum number 76! I want to get to 100 so bad. Like I said, if I can get to 100 plats, that make me in the top 1% of Sony gamers in the world. Major bragging rights. That's good. I'm good to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. Just getting by. I've been feeling kind of under the weather past couple of days. Nothing serious. I think I'm not getting enough sleep or something like that. I don't have a fever or anything, so... That's good. You deserve to be happy. I may not be happy, but I'm fucking trying to be happy. Hey, it's all work in progress. Ah, shit. Yeah. Ah, damn it. Oh well, no big deal. I'm talking to this new chick, so hopefully that works out. She's pretty cool. I think part of the reason why I'm not feeling well is because I've been cutting back on caffeine. I stopped. I told you I had a ritual, an O.C.G ritual where I hit myself. It wasn't like self-harm or anything, but it was how I coped. Basically took that frustration out of myself. And because I didn't have that to fall back on, I started leaning really hard on caffeine. I started leaning really hard on caffeine and drinking. I'd always drink caffeine and Monsters, but I was drinking like 2 or 3 Monsters a day. And now I've been cutting back. So when your body gets used to a certain amount of caffeine, usually it doesn't, like that. So I think that could just be it. Because it's not like I'm not throwing up, I'm not crapping myself, I don't have a fever, I just feel generally unwell, you know what I mean? Like a malaise, but not like so bad I'm like, oh my god, I'm dying or anything, you know what I mean? So it could just be caffeine withdrawal. Oh shit. Come on, I know I can get up there. Yeah, there's the key there too. Fuck. Come on. Oh, there was a pole to get up there. Okay, well, I mean, my way still works. Yeah. Well, like I said, it wasn't like I was trying to harm myself. It wasn't like self-harm, it was just I would have rage and frustration I would take it out of me, and that wasn't healthy. But because I stopped doing that, I lean on the Monsters more, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't leaning on one thing, so I leaned on another as a crutch, and I was drinking entirely too many. I was drinking like 2 or 3 a day. Normally I would drink one every so often, you know what I mean? Then I was drinking one every day, and then I could see it was getting out of hand, so I cut back. And that's good, but you get your body used to a certain amount of caffeine, and then you cut back, and so I think that's partially what it is. And I've seen caffeine withdrawal can make you feel fucking lousy, so. We also have an outbreak of the flu around here in Kentucky. A neurovirus causes people to vomit and shit like that. Yeah, that's fair. Although I don't think it's that. Because like I said, people who have that usually are fucking vomiting all over. And diarrhea, you know what I mean? One of those quick-acting viruses. But I'm into that. Say I'm a warrior, So, and I do have a bit of hypochondria. So the second I start feeling under the weather, I'm like, oh god, oh shit, oh no, you know what I mean? Even if it's totally unfounded. Yeah, I've been irritable, been cranky, I generally feel under the weather. And that all could be caffeine withdrawal. I hope that's what it is. You know what I mean? Simple solution. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was never drinking insane amounts. Okay, I was drinking more than I should have, but I was always careful to not go crazy. You know what I'm saying? I was drinking a lot, but I never drank to dangerous levels, if that makes sense. So you don't have to worry about that. I was basically, one time I capped out at 4. That was the most. Usually about 2 a day, 3 a day tops. Which is definitely definitely not healthy for you, but it's not dangerous. That's roughly the equivalent of like 4 or 5 cups of coffee. So, like I said, more than I should be drinking, but not like, you know, like, oh my god, extreme, gonna put me in the hospital. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Plus, you also have to understand another reason why I got heavy into the caffeine. Is because, the medicine that I take to combat my anxiety, Zoloft, it's great for helping with my anxiety. I mean, it doesn't make it go away. Yeah, it is. I agree. It's great for helping with my anxiety. It also makes me super tired. So, like, I got tired of being tired all the time, and drinking the caffeine didn't so much make me hyper as it did kind of counteract it, you know what I mean? And I got used to it. Because, like, the Zoloft made me sleepy, and the monster brought me back up to the middle. So that I got so tired of feeling tired all the time, you know what I mean? Yeah, you do. I worry about you. That's another thing about this game that was funny, and it's kind of like one of those, I don't know which one's worse. So I was playing this game, and as I got into the later levels... Yeah, no, I don't doubt that. That's gonna suck, I'm sorry. As I got into the later levels, I started getting really bad lag. And I'm like, oh great, that's the last thing this game needs is frame rate problems on top of everything else, especially because this game has technical issues, as we talked about. Artistically, great. Graphically, not so much. And then I came back to the same level after I restarted the game, and it's no longer lagging. So I guess it's a memory leak for you play for too long. And it caused frame rate drops. I'm like, I don't know what would be worse, it having frame rate problems in certain levels or fucking memory leak. Either way, I'm glad that Reset fixed it, because it was getting really bad frame rate drops. Like, in this level. And I thought it was just like, oh, it's the later levels, they're more taxing. But no, like, in the same spot I was getting lag, I'm not anymore. Yeah, like I said, it's pretty much stages that saved this game. Graphics are kind of you know, it's kind of buggy, but I think they really have great stage design. And every stage is different, you know what I mean? Like, really different. That, to me, is what elevates this game and makes it worth playing. Otherwise, it'd just be average. But I think the stage design for this game is fantastic. Okay, I think I gotta get up there. I think that's where Last Panda is. Plus, or not. Like, I swear to God, I heard that fucker. Yeah, that is true. I wouldn't even care about the graphics. It's more like the massive pop-in. it's really jarring. You know what I mean? Like, you yourself even said, like, it's not like a little bit, like, it does kind of break the immersion, and it's honestly not needed. These levels are big, but they're not that big. It's just a case of poor optimization, really. So... And it's not like, you know, it'd be one thing if it's like little objects, but it's like massive swaths of like land popping in. It's really jarring. And makes the game feel way more dated than it is. This game came out last year. Well, 2023, the end of 2023. And I could say that that's probably how you would describe the entire game in general. It just needs more polish. Like, I feel like if this had a little bit more polish in the right places, this would go from being a decent game to a fucking great one. I still think it's worth playing, but it just feels like rough in every area. You know what I mean? Like, almost not quite there. And that's why I think it's a lack of, yes, I've heard mixed things. I'll have to let you know how I feel about it. I think it's free to play. I just don't normally play games like that. Have you seen the trailer for Tides of Annihilation? That actually looks really good and up your alley. Oh shit, wait a minute. No, okay, I already got that, just making sure. If I have to look up a guide for the last panda, I will. It's set in a world based off of Arthurian legend, which I really like, Arthur and all that shit. And part of it is set in a modern dystopian London, like you see Big Ben overturned in the water in the future. So it's like sci-fi, but like apocalyptic. And then part of it is set in a fantasy world based off of like King Arthur myths. And she switches between this chick. Her name is Gwendolyn. And she fights using the summons of the Round Table. So like she summons ghosts to do all of her attacks. And so it's got like a bit of Ender Lilies like that, and it is open world, has some parkour, like it's coming out later this year for PlayStation. I think it's a PS exclusive, PS and PC anyway, and it looks really good. And it's definitely kind of got like a near kind of thing going on. I think it'd be up your alley, and it's I think it's really cool how it blends the two different genres, sci-fi and fantasy, in an open world. And it's something that hasn't really been done before. Yeah, that would be great. So, I saw the trailer at the State of Play, and I thought, oh, hey, Rose would probably like this. And you know, normally I don't care for censorship, and it's not about censorship, you know me. But God, I get so tired of people talking about fucking Nier and 2B, man. And don't get me wrong, 2B is cool. But it's like, they push over every cool fucking thing about Nier just to fucking talk about how fathomable she is. And it just upsets me. And actually, for the longest time, it was the reason why I didn't get into Nier. Because the impression that I got from the community was that it was fucking Wi-Fi Coomer bait. And that's not what I'm into playing. But yeah. And then I played Nier Reincarnation, the remake of the first game, and I was fucking blown away. I'm like, oh shit! And, and then I got Automata after that, and I'm just like, man, like, the fanbase actually kept me away from that series. Because anytime anyone talks about it, it's always waifu shit and jerking off the 2B and all that shit. Like, she's literally, I think, one of the top search artists on Rule34, so she's honestly one of the most jerked off to her, people gooned to her characters in all of history, which is saying a lot. So it's like, you can't even look up fucking Nier Automata without seeing porn of her. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And every time I heard people talking about it, they were talking about wanting to get fuck her, or her thighs and all that shit. So I got the wrong impression of what Nier was about. You know what I mean? Because I thought, there's tons of games like that just are about lusting after a waifu anime character. And then I actually saw some gameplay of Nier Reincarnation. I'm like, this looks pretty good. And I played it and I was like, fuck, this is great. I mean, not perfect, but I really liked it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up where the fucking panda is, because it's driving me crazy. Like I said, it's like every time I saw shit about Nier, it was always about 2B. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, she's hot, but like, there's so many good things in Nier that are not just that. But it's like, I swear to God, every fucking time I see that mentioned up, those games mentioned, it's a 2B fucking thirst post. It kills me. Especially because it's just like so surface level, but the actual game has such like deep shit. Like, it's just... Let me see... Sorry, I'm just having to look up the fucking... where the panda is so I can move on. It's the only thing I haven't gotten to this stage. And trying to find that one little panda fucker in this stage, like finding a needle in a haystack. I tell you what, yeah, this year's gonna be great for gaming, just in general. Oh shit, okay. Like the most anticipated games. Well, Metal Gear Solid Delta, you know that. Because I mean, it's fucking Metal Gear Solid 3 with modern graphics and MGS5 gameplay. Like, fuck. Some people are upset they're not changing the story, and goddamn, I don't need them to. I don't. The story was perfect. The only thing that aged was the graphics and the gameplay. Okay, so keep the story the same, but fucking give me Metal Gear Solid 5 gameplay? Yes. I am on board. Marvel 1943, Rise of Hydra. I saw the trailer for that last year. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was fucking Black Panther and Captain America going at it. But it's like, you know, the old T'Challa. That has some of the best fucking graphics I've ever seen in a game, to the point where they had to stop the presentation and let people see the camera move around to show people that was real graphics. And it's not based on a movie, and it's written by Amy Hennig. Not yet. They're waiting to show a full thing closer to reveal. But it's written by Amy Hennig, the chick who wrote the Legacy of Kain games, Jak and Daxter, and the first 3 Uncharted. So it looks amazing. It's an interesting setting. We don't have very many superhero period pieces. It has fucking unbelievable graphics. Looks fucking phenomenal. And they said it's been in development for like 5 years, so they haven't rushed it. So that, you know, that's really high up on my list. The Legacy, we're probably going to get more Legacy of Kain remasters this year. Which, you know me, I fucking love Legacy of Kain, so I'm down. And then on top of which, the last remaster, story remaster, is really good, so I'm really eager for the rest of the games to get that treatment. God, there's so many games coming out this year. Ghost of Yotai. I fucking absolutely adore Tsushima. It's one of my all-time favorite games. You know that? And Ghost of Yotai looks like they're just doing what worked, but making it considerably deeper. Bigger map, more variety, more weapons, more builds. You know what I'm saying? Dual katanas, Kusurigama, flintlock rifle. Like, it looks like exactly what a fucking sequel should be. And I'm so excited for that. And it's a period of Japan's history that's very rarely covered. So it's nice to get a lot of games that are, you know, set in Japan that aren't in fucking Edo. Like, everybody loves Edo, I love Edo, but it gets old. And, you know, lately we've had a very cool string of games that are doing different periods. Like, you know, Rise of the Ronin, doing Bakumatsu, the Project Century, no, it's during the 1600s. So it's like when they started modernizing Japan, but before Bakumatsu. And it's really not a covered part of Japan. And, you know, people originally criticized, yeah. Well, I mean, it was appropriate to the time period, in all fairness. But you know, people bitched about the game not having major cities, which I understand that to a certain degree. But you know, Tsushima is a smaller island, so it wasn't really gonna. But this is in Hokkaido, so you're gonna get to go to well, you know, Kyoto, what would become Tokyo, and other major cities. Yeah, that would be great too. Come on, you fucker, where are you? God, there's so many great games coming out this year that it's honestly crazy. GTA 6, obviously. I know that's cliched, but whether it's good or not, I'm still, like, I need to play it. Because, like I said, the Houser brothers have been making games since I've been alive, since you've been alive. And this is the last game that was done by both of them. For better or for worse, it is the end of the classic Rockstar era. Sam Houser knew going into this game it would be his last, because he retired. You know, he didn't quit GTA, he quit gaming. He's in his 60s, he wanted to quit. So I think because he knew that GTA 6 was going to be his last game, that he fucking brought the noise and approached it with that, and I think GTA 6 is going to be fantastic. Or single player will be. I can't speak for the multiplayer, but I think the single player is going to be great. Because you can see with GTA 4, Red Dead 2, that when Sam really sets his mind to it, he can write some fucking amazing stories. And it definitely seems like they're trying to do a more serious story with 6. You know what I mean? Like, they said that they're trying to find a middle ground. Because 4 was very serious, and 5 was that, so it looks like with 6 they're trying to meet in the middle, and I think that's great. You know what I mean? And the whole Romeo and Juliet, kind of Bonnie and Clyde love story, is something that I've never seen in a crime game like this. And it's honestly surprising me it took this long, because, you know, Bonnie and Clyde are fucking famous. But I've never played you know, like a crime game with the Bonnie and Clyde theme. So it's fresh territory for the genre and for them. And they've never really written a female lead, so it's gonna be new just that alone. They've never done a love story. And then, you know, Florida, I think, is the perfect setting. Modern Florida is the perfect setting for GTA. Honestly, you couldn't think of a better setting. So, like, the amount of stories and crazy shit that they can take inspiration from is awesome. And, you know, I know they've technically done Vice City, but they didn't do any of the state around it, so there's so much more for them to play with. You know, I want to go down in the marshes and shoot gators. And honestly, in terms of raw anticipation, I honestly can't think, I honestly can't think of a more hyped game in our lifetime. Like, it is probably the most anticipated game of all time ever. Like, no shit, so it's like, even if it's bad, it's more than a game, it's an event. You know what I'm saying? I probably will never be a game this hyped in our lifetimes. You know what I mean? So, for better or for worse, because obviously we won't be able to say the game is good until we play it, it is going to be an event. And I want to be a part of it. So, and yeah, that's fair. You can't really go wrong there. I don't have any doubt that it will be at least a decent game, you know? Even if it doesn't live up to the hype, I don't think it will be bad. I don't think Rockstar has ever made a truly bad game. You may like some Rockstar games more than others. You may not be the biggest fan of GTA 5, but I don't think you'd say GTA 5 is a bad game. You know what I'm saying? So I have faith it will be at least worth playing. I have never played a Rockstar game and I'm like, man, this sucks. You know what I mean? So, whether it can live up to the hype is one thing. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, I don't think it's going to be bad. At the very least, it won't make me regret my purchase. So, yeah, exactly. Come on. Fuck. I'm gonna kung fu kick that panda's ass. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to Metroid Prime 4, even though we don't have a concrete release date for that. I've waited so long for fucking Metroid Prime 4, and it's made by Retro. I have no doubt. I don't think it's going to disappoint at all. They've never made a bad game, in my opinion. Even if you're not like a huge fan of Donkey Kong Country Returns, I don't think you'd say it's a bad game. So I have every faith in my mind that it's going to fucking kick ass. And this is Retro doing what Retro does best. And I don't even need it to, like, massively innovate, you know? Like, Metroid Prime is still, to this day, so unique that if it's just Metroid Prime, but modernized and prettier, I will be fine with that. But yeah, but you wouldn't say it's a bad game, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I don't think Retro has ever made a bad game. So, like, if Metroid Prime 4 is just Metroid Prime 3, but prettier, I will be 1,000,000% okay with that. Because there's still no game series quite like Metroid Prime, even now, so it still feels fresh to me. And, well, obviously it's been... Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, it's been done to death, we need a new one. Plus, the last game came out, what, 18 years ago? So, we had a break from that style of game anyway. So, if, like, they were coming out every year in the same, I'd be like, okay, but no, I'm ready. I'm ready. Plus, I can't wait to see, like, how it looks on Switch, too. Right now, what we've been seeing is it on the Switch. And, I mean, it looked good, but on the Switch 2, it's gonna be fucking judged up. Yeah, I probably won't get it, but yeah, I'm excited. And like I said, if it looks that pretty on Switch, Jesus, I can't fucking wait to see it on Switch 2. Because you know, with it coming out right around the launch, they're gonna make a special version just for that. So, fuck yeah. Like, I am ready. And fuck it. I tell you what, I'm gonna save and exit the level and restart because it oh, never mind. Motherfucker. Not well. But yeah, Metroid Prime 4 I'm looking forward to. I'm sure Switch is going to have some more games coming out, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they said a PS4 Pro, actually, is what I heard, which is actually a huge jump in graphics. Especially for a handheld. And, I'm sure Nintendo's going to have a new Mario game. I'm talking about Mario Kart. and I will be super looking forward to that. If Nintendo comes out with another 3D Mario game, like Mario Odyssey, I will lose my shit. Okay? Like, Odyssey is one of my favorite games, and I've just been waiting, and I had the sneaking suspicion that Bowser's Fury was them testing the waters for a game like that. Because, you know, it was a pack-in to an existing game, and they were trying a new style of game. Well, sure. But I think the next 3D Mario game is going to be like Bowser's Fury, but a full game. And I would, oh my god, that would be fucking outstanding, because I thought Bowser's Fury was fucking incredible. It just, you know what I mean, felt like the first act of a game. So, like, if they made like a full Mario-sized game, like Bowser's Fury, oh... And that's what I honestly felt. Like they were testing the waters, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna... Yeah, exactly. And they threw it into a game they knew people would like, you know what I mean? Like, I deliberately feel like they were trying to see, like, you like this? Because it was a totally new style Mario game, and they weren't sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like how they snuck Portal into the orange box. Because actually, Valve said that's why they made the orange box. They wanted to test the waters for Portal, and they're like, what better way to kind of sneak Portal in there by packaging together games we know people like, Half-Life. And then, oh, by the way, here's a bonus game. Like, that's what Bowser's Fury felt like to me. Like, they were like, oh, do you guys like this? And I think because Bowser's Fury did really well, that the next main 3D Mario game is going to be like that. So, I'm looking forward to that. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more. In order for Nintendo to keep the train going, you know, they've got to have a bunch of games in launch here. So I'm sure there's a lot more games we haven't seen yet that they'll announce when it comes out. So we're probably going to get the first look at Pokemon Alpha. The new, you know, like, it's going to be like the Arceus Legends game, but with Gen 6, I think. And maybe with the power of the Switch, too, they can make a new Pokemon game that doesn't look like horse testicles. Because, oh my god, Scarlet and Violet looked un-fucking-forgivably bad. Like, oh my god, it was so bad. Like, I understand Switch isn't a powerhouse, but even by Switch standards, that was fucking terrible. So... Okay. Yeah, exactly. And those graphics didn't really fly on that Switch. They wouldn't fly on Switch 2 when they're trying to convince people to upgrade. I'm expecting probably a new Xenoblade game. Corsairs Code. What we're doing, pirate themed. They've had a habit of releasing a Xenoblade game, usually close to the lifespan of new Nintendo systems. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a new Xenoblade game. Yeah. I've totally disengaged, man, from fucking Pokemon. I wouldn't even consider myself a fan anymore, dog. Modern Pokemon has sucked. Like, I remember being a kid and literally getting all 150 Pokemon in yellow. Sitting there with the fucking Game Boy with no light. And a magnifying glass and the light that you get. And how much I love Pokemon. And I spent like 180 hours of my life playing Soul Silver. And now it's like, Pokemon fucking sucks. And I will not support it. I'm a big proponent of putting your money where your mouth is. And I don't believe in buying something that I don't support. And I cannot support what Nintendo's doing to Pokemon. So I have not bought any of the new games, and I will not buy any of them. I am not going to spend $60 plus, you know, if I choose to get DLC on my hard-earned money on a game that looks like a bad PS1 fucking game. Fuck them. Yeah, I don't know the exact age. But yeah. If the new Pokemon game looks good, I'll get it. But I'm not just gonna get something because it's fucking Pokemon. It's that mentality that has allowed Nintendo to do this bullshit. Where they no longer have to fucking try. Okay. Yeah, they are. I also hope we don't have to wait fucking ages to get a new Zelda game. It would make sense if they were fucking working on a new Zelda game in the background for Switch 2. Because they have several themes. It would really suck if we had to wait till the end of the fucking Switch 2's lifespan to get a new Zelda game. And I don't think we will. Especially with, you know, I like Tears of the Kingdom, but it was more iterative. You know what I mean? It was basically the Majora's Mask to Ocarina, not like a full new era. So, and honestly, I'm ready for something new. I like Breath of the Wild, I like Tears of the Kingdom, but I want something new. And honestly, what I want more than anything is for them to combine. I want them to combine the old Zelda philosophy and the new. That's what I thought was really missing. More than anything, I really missed the traditional Zelda dungeons. Like, I liked Breath of the Wild, I liked Tears of the Kingdom, and the dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom were a definite improvement, but I just missed those traditional Zelda dungeons, those fucking massive interior complexes that are built in a way that, like, so many people imitated and only Nintendo has mastered. Like, there's nothing like a classic Zelda dungeon. you know, than getting a sick fucking new tool. You know, and if they could combine the open world design of Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild with the dungeons of a classic Zelda, that would be like the fucking greatest game ever made ever. That would be like the perfect game. It's like I said, I love both of them, but man, I just miss those classic Zelda dungeons so much. Yeah, that is true. Like I said, I just, you know, I miss those classic dungeons. The fucking Forest Temple, Arbiter's Grounds, fucking Snow Peak Ruins. Like I said, there's nothing out there like a classic Zelda dungeon. And I fucking miss them. Plus, I hope the next Zelda has more of a main story. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom didn't have bad stories. What was there was good, but you can definitely tell they put the story on the back burner, and I don't like that. I want a more prevalent main story in my Zelda game. I don't think people give Zelda enough credit for the storytelling, honestly. And I know everybody likes to hate on Skyward Sword, but I fucking love the story of Skyward Sword. I mean, at this point, I really just think they should. Everybody else is speaking now. Everybody else is fully voiced for the main story. Link is now gestures and emotes like he's speaking. So, I mean, like I said, they might as well just fucking bite the bullet. Yeah, and, you know, Skyward Sword had so many great story aspects. And, you know what, I do not care what anyone says. Demise has got to be the coolest fucking form of Ganon ever. I don't think there's been a cooler version of Ganon before or after Demise. And in fact, that's actually one of the things I hate about Breath of the Wild that thankfully Tears of the Kingdom rectified, is fucking Calamity Ganon was weak as fuck. Like, they build him up and, oh, it's just a weird spider dude who has, like, no presence in the story. Like, what? Thankfully, they got the message and they brought Ganon back in a big fucking way in Tears of the Kingdom. Because I think Calamity Ganon is probably my least favorite version of Ganon ever. Like, he was just basically zero impact boss, and it didn't even feel like Ganon. They could have called it something else. It also felt like one of the only Zelda games where they were really serious about the timeline placement. They just kind of put a Zelda game's timeline wherever. You know, it was an afterthought. And they even said they didn't put much thought into the timeline. But I felt like with Skyward Sword, making it at the beginning, they had a strong vision for the story. You know what I mean? This is the start, the beginning. And I, like, for me as a longtime Zelda fan, Skyward Sword answers so many questions about the overall, like, mythos, that for me it was just, like, such a major payoff. And, you know, there's been a lot of cool supporting characters throughout the series. But, man, I fucking love Groose. He has such a fucking great character arc, where he starts at the game with you fucking hating him. And he's such a fucking tool. But by the end of the game, he's one of the most solid fucking bros in the series. And it never comes across as forced. Like, they did such a great job with Groose. And I love how at the end he's like, well, you may not be the chosen one, Groose, but you still have an important role to play. You know what I mean? So it's cool to see somebody else get on the action and be like, well, you don't have to be the chosen one to kick fucking ass and make a difference. Yeah. Well, see, it'll probably never happen, because Nintendo has a habit of doing one and done. But man, if they did an open world Zelda with the Loft Wings from Skyward Sword, I would spontaneously combust. Because I fucking loved all of Skyloft and the stuff around it, but it just felt too small. Like a massive open world in the clouds with the bird. Ugh. And then, of course, they had a big portion of the map in the sky for Tears of the Kingdom, but you couldn't ride the fucking bird. Wasn't the same. Give me my red bird, man. Plus, there was nothing in the sky. Like I wanted a town. You know what I mean? The sky was good for what it was, but I just missed, you know, fucking Skyloft. I think Skyloft is the best town in any Zelda game. I know people get upset because it was the only town, but they just filled it with so much shit. Every single inch of Skyloft had something. 5 things, you know what I mean? Like, it was so jam-packed. And I would rather them have one town that is dense as fuck than a bunch of ones that are scattershot. Although I do like the towns in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, not. But I just think, like, we've never had a town before or after in Zelda that was that dense and packed with shit where, you know, like, every single character in that town felt fleshed out. You know what I'm saying? There was no, like, generic NPC characters. You got to know them all. Like, it just felt like a real fucking place. And, you know, I honestly feel like I like the Wii. Don't get me wrong, I do like the Wii. I don't regret owning a Wii. But I don't think it ever lived up to the promise of the motion controls. You know what I mean? It was supposed to be revolution, and it didn't reach that. Not that I'm 100% glad that I'm kind of somewhat glad that it didn't, because I kind of like controllers, and if we moved to motion controls, I wouldn't like it as much. I'd like a controller. But it still never reached that premise of motion controls. But I feel like with Skyward Sword, you got a glimmer of what it could be like. I think Skyward Sword is the best game ever for motion controls. It didn't feel like an afterthought. It didn't feel gimmicky. Yeah, for the most part I do. But I think they fucking crushed it with Skyward Sword. I still have the fucking golden limited edition Wii remote from Skyward Sword. The coolest, maybe one of the coolest fucking controllers of all time ever. Fucking sick. Yeah, well, thankfully the Switch version alleviated that. I wasn't sure how they were going to do it, but I actually think they did a really good job offering alternatives for motion controls. And if they had fucked that up, it would have sucked. So... like, you could still play with the classic controls, but they made really good alternatives. And using the right analog stick for the sword actually works surprisingly well. Plus, I really liked, having right stick for camera, which the original game never really had because the Wii didn't support it, so that was great. And it was like one of the only 3D Zelda games that had 60 FPS. Even when they re-released the Zelda games, they stuck to 30, and I don't know why. So being able to play Zelda at 60 was so nice, honestly. It felt fucking phenomenal with that smoothness. I wish we had more 60 FPS Zelda games. From what I heard, they're actually planning on I think they're planning on doing a Switch. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. I just had a fucking seizure. At first I thought it was like the terrain spasm, and it's like, no, homeboy, he was having an issue. Yeah. I have really mixed feelings about Revengeance, though. Like, I like it as a game. But I mean, let's keep it fucking real. It is pretty much a Metal Gear game in name only. It's a Platinum game with some Metal Gear characters thrown in. And that's fine. But, like, it's not really a Metal Gear game. And I get kind of tired of people acting like it is. Like, you could literally remove it from the entire story and it would not matter, because it is so focused on its story. Like, honestly, you could have called Raiden somebody else and it would have fit. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, I'm a real big proponent of let's call a spade a spade. And I saw people saying that Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 should have Rising on there. I'm like, no! Okay, for one, it's called the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. For two, okay, they should get the main games playable first. Like, if they want to do, like, a Volume 3 afterwards, that has, like, the spin-off games, like Babel, Metal Gear Game Boy, I'm all for it. But the fucking getting the mainline games playable needs to take precedence. You know what I'm saying? And if they were to put Rising on Volume 2, they would be removing one of the main games. Like, no. Get the main games done first, and then whatever. But the whole Metal Gear Solid series needs to be playable on modern hardware first. It takes place at the end of the timeline anyway, so... Even fucking chronologically, it comes after 4, so... Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm not against it getting remastered, okay? I'm just saying the main games need to come first. We need to be able to play the main story from start to finish on modern hardware. That's the goal. And to remaster Rising properly would be like remastering one of the other ones, so it would actively take away from the main games being on there. I don't want that. So like I said, do Volume 2, get the rest of the games out, then you can do like a Volume 3 that's spin-offs, you know what I mean? Ghost Babel, Acid 2. Yeah, exactly. And it's already been leaked, that's coming. Just so you know. Volume 2, okay, sorry. We don't know how many games Volume 2 will have, because, they advertised Volume 1 as having 3 games, but it actually had 7. Yes, exactly. Volume 1, they advertised 1, 2, and 3 as the big games, but it also had Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear 2, and the NES versions of both games, which are totally different games, so it actually had 7 games. So, it's already been leaked that Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, and Peace Walker will be on Volume 2. Even some art of it leaked, like the promotional art they're working on, and showed those games. But we don't know the rest of the lineup. They're probably going to have more. Yes, exactly. PS3 is really hard to emulate due to its setup. So a native port would be great. Even for PC gamers. Because even on PC, it's a bitch to emulate. You need a really good PC to run it semi-competently. But if they made a port for next-gen hardware, a toaster could run it. So even PC players would benefit. You know what I mean? Yes. It was leaked. I'll send you the picture. But Konami had promotional art for it, and it got leaked. It's in Japanese, but you can clearly see MGS 5, 4, and Peace Walker. Like, it was basically they're working on a Japanese advertisement, and it got leaked to the public a few weeks ago. So I don't think an official announcement is far behind. You know, because when they announced the first collection, they showed a key art of 1, 2, and 3. This was key art of 4, 5, and Peace Walker. Like, exactly the same, and it looked 100% legit. And it was art that hasn't been anywhere else. You know what I mean? So, not like a fan shit. Like, it looked real promotional material that got leaked. And people even last year, before this, they data mined the website for, you know, because they made a Master Collection website, and they found data for Volume 2, and it listed Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes, Phantom Pain, and 4 under that. So there is multiple things supporting that 5 is coming. And, you know, people, I saw somebody say, why does 5 need to be remastered? Because 5 is... Yeah, exactly. 5 is now 10 years old. Because, like, you know, Max, I love Max. But he was like, why would they remaster 5? It's on modern hardware technically with PS5. Because you can play the PS4 version. I'm like, yes, but that's the old version. Like, we got into a spat about it. It's not a big deal, but I said, dude, a remaster is not just about making it playable on modern hardware. A remaster is about taking an old game and making it look better. Like, yes, technically, you can play MGS5 on modern hardware, but it's the PS4 version. It's running at PS4 settings. They could obviously jack that shit way up on PS5. I mean, fuck, even the PC version of Metal Gear Solid 5 is way higher settings than any of the consoles. And even that could be jacked up higher now with modern hardware, because that was like, you know, the PC version was like 2015. So, you know, I'm down. Plus, the collection's on Switch. So just, I'm sure they would include it just so they can make a portable version for Switch. I wouldn't get it on Switch, but I know a lot of people who would be excited for MGS5 on the go, you know? And there's no way for them to play it on Switch. Plus, like you said, haptic feedback, ray tracing, like, there's a lot they could do with the Metal Gear Solid 5 thing. Just pushing out the draw distance. Because on PC, you could set all the shit way higher. You know, right now it's stuck on consoles at 1440p. So they did a pro launch. We could get it native 4K 60. It would look fucking beautiful. Like I said, imagine Metal Gear Solid 5 at a native 4K with maxed out settings from PC. I would play the fuck out of that. So I'm not complaining. My biggest hope. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, ultra wide for you. It wouldn't be ultra wide for me, but yeah, it still would be great to have. And they added the people have modded ultra wide into the Legacy Collection Volume 1, so definitely. And I think they added it later officially, so it's, you know. But my biggest hope for the Master Collection, because 5, you know, 4, 5, and Peace Walker are all but confirmed, is 1, portable ops, because it is a main game and should be included, and it needs an overhaul. I understand that they did the best they could with the control scheme, but that control scheme is aged like shit. You know, aiming with the face buttons, and the game is capped at 20 FPS. Obviously on PSP I get that, but God, a version with modernized controls and 60 FPS would be amazing. And like I said, it is a main game, and a fucking toaster can emulate at this point. I can literally emulate PSP on my phone. That sucks. So would not be hard to bring. And then I really hope that they'll bring the Twin Snakes. I know it's controversial to change this, yada yada yada. I really like the Twin Snakes, and just for completion's sake, it should be there. And besides, I mean, they already have the original Metal Gear remastered, so it's not like, you know, here's the original remake, you can just play that. But it's never been re-released, ever, officially. And if you were to try and get a legit copy, it set you back like $200. So if they included Twin Snakes, they could spiffy it up to 4K and make a legitimate way to buy it that's not going to cost you a new kidney. So that's the thing I'm hoping. And after all, it already runs on the Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 engine that they've already remastered. So, I mean, just literally upscale it to fucking 4K, clean up the frame rate, because it was 60 anyway, but it, you know, could dip in heavy scenes. Boom, end of the day. Another game to add on the collection. Would not be that hard. Even a moderately competent laptop can fucking run it with Dolphin. So, an official console port should be gravy. And if they just include Portable Ops, Twin Snakes, Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, both parts, I consider them one part because they were always meant to be, and Peace Walker in the Volume 2, boom. That would literally be the entire main story from start to finish. You know what I mean? You could play the Metal Gear Solid series the way it was intended from beginning to end on modern hardware. That's the goal. And then they could do a Volume 3 afterward with the spin-offs and Rising. Because, you know, Metal Gear Acid 1 and 2 has never been re-released. And Ghost Babel and Metal Gear Mobile. I've heard a lot of good stuff about Metal Gear Mobile. It's almost impossible to play without a PC, but I've heard people say it's actually a full Metal Gear game. And a decent one. Oh god, that would be great. Yeah, like a reignited trilogy for Jak and Daxter. Oh, that'd be so fucking amazing. Plus, you know, I know Naughty Dog's busy with Intergalactic and The Last of Us 3 and all that, but they could have somebody else do it, you know what I mean? Just remake the games to modern standards graphically and leave the rest of the shit the same. Well, of course, you know, quality of life, but I'm saying leave the story the same, leave the voice acting the same, just modernize the gameplay, update the graphics, bingo bongo. Take my money. Plus, there's a rumor going around that actually seems credible, but of course it's a rumor until it's not, that they're actually going to do a God of War remaster collection this year, because this is the 20th anniversary of God of War, and you know, it's going to have all the classic games. Fuck yes. Day one purchase for me. Immediately. And they don't even need to do much. Okay, just fucking up-res them, get them running smoothly. Done. I just want to play the God of War games on modern platforms, man. It's like Sony's flagship fucking series. Kratos is basically their mascot, and you can't play any of them except for God of War fucking 3 on modern hardware. Like, what the fuck? And now that they shut down the multiplayer servers, you can't even get the platinum for Ascension anymore. So, if they released a modern version without the multiplayer shit, or fuck, even revive the multiplayer, that would be great! Well, when I say modernize the gameplay, I'm talking about just quality of life features. I'm not talking about revamping into something it's not, you know? I'm just talking about quality of life shit. And also, I would probably rebalance Jak 2. I like Jak 2, but even the developers admit that they botched the difficulty and made it too bullshit. And there are parts of Jak 2 that make me want to fucking pull my hair out. Well, you know, my hair that I don't have. But yeah, want to jam my face in a wall. Like, insanely hard missions without a single fucking checkpoint that's like an hour long. It's just bullshit. Honestly. I do not. There are certain missions that make me want to fucking... You know? Or like I said, I mean, even if the missions are hard, just give us more fucking checkpoints. Okay? For the love of God. Having to redo an entire hour-long mission is just bullshit. Okay? Like, just giving us more checkpoints would be 1,000,000%, so I don't have to do the whole fucking mission again. Like, I think it was like the strip mine 2 or 3. Oh my god, that would fucking kill me. You know, or I mean, they could just make it like an easier optional version. You know what I'm saying? There you go. Problem solved. You can play the original version and get fucking raw dogged by Naughty Dog, and then other people can play the easier version that would have more checkpoints, less enemies, shit like that. Boom, problem solved. Would not be that hard to implement. Just lower some enemy stats and give checkpoints. And have the original purists for people like you that just really want to get fucked. Okay, I do believe that that's... Oh my god, yeah. Sometimes I worry for you, and never more than just now. And, you know, Jak 3 in particular has got to be one of my all-time favorite games. I love the whole series for the most part, but man, Jak 3, I have replayed that game so many fucking times. Like, I could just hop into that and play, you know, play through most of the game just in a quick session. Like, Jak 3 is almost like a perfect fucking game. Every mission in that game brought something new to the table and had so many different gameplay styles, and yet, like, it could have been shit, but it wasn't. You know, like, many different games have tried that, you know, adventure type thing where it's like every mission's a new thing, we're having all these different types of gameplay, but most of them fucking suck. But like with Jak 3, it just went from great mission to great mission to great mission. And by the time the game is done showing you new things, it was over. It was just perfectly fucking varied. Like one of the, like, the best paced games. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but that's still, you know what I mean? That's just nitpicky, you know what I'm saying? Like, the overall game threw so much at you that was so great. You know? I'll never forget the first time I got back to Haven City because, you know, Haven City was the main setting with Jak 2, obviously. And in 3, you go to the desert, and the desert's already, like, 5 times the size of Haven City. It was fucking huge. So I'm thinking that the desert's gonna be all of Jak 3, or if you visited Haven City, it would be linear. It's like, you know, we legitimately brought back most of Jak 2, but changed up the city. I'm like, no fucking way. And, like, I was, like, 13, 14 when I really got through that. And I was just like, fuck. And, like, they didn't just reuse it. Like, they extensively changed parts of the city. I was, like, mind blown. You know, right when you think the game is ending, oh, no. You know, and, like, the previous garden district or market that used to be pretty is now Metalhead City and is all different, and then the fucking slums is now the new headquarters. Yeah, exactly. So it's like they crammed multiple fucking games in there. And they managed to make each setting feel unique. And then, you know, towards the third act, they have you going back and forth between the fucking two. And managed to balance that out with the different casts. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, more sandbox. Even when they like, even when they brought back old locations, they were changed. You know, like, you go back to Haven Forest, and like that was one of my favorite parts of Jak 2. And you're expecting, oh, it's more of the same. It's a new section of Haven Forest, and this is fall. So like even when they brought back like returning locations, they put a spin on them and made them different. You know what I mean? Like there were so many missions in Jak 3 that, oh yes, oh my god, the fucking sand cars. Fuck me. Yeah. There were so many mission types in that game that if they had put it in the hands of a lesser developer, would have sucked. Like, when you break into fucking Errol's factory towards the end of the game, and it's like, oh, it's a cool mission. Then you're driving around that fucking car in the factory on the conveyor belts over the city, and if the car handling in that game had not been as good as it was, that whole mission would have sucked ass. But because the car handling in that game was so on the money, that mission fucking rocked. You're literally sliding down fucking conveyor belts, hopping with precision thing above, and like I said, like on paper, oh my god, I would be too. On paper, it's like car platforming, but god, they made it fucking work. I mean, they would do like massive gameplay types for one mission, then never do it again, just to keep it, you know, varied. And almost every single part of that game is good. I can't think of a single mission in Jak 3 where I'm like, I don't like this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they threw so many different things at the wall with Jak 3, but fuck, they were all great. And to me, just every single mission was new. Every single mission was different. Every single mission was keeping you on your toes. And that game has over 100 missions. Like, the sheer amount of shit that they jammed into the runtime for Jak 3 was fucking crazy. Like, it was, I mean, you know what I mean? And I've replayed Jak 3 countless times and never gotten fucking bored of it. And the weapons. Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. Like, I already like the weapons in Jak 2, but holy fuck, the arsenal of weapons in Jak 3. Oh my god. And it seems like, oh, these are just additions to the guns. No, they're not. It's like, the additions are new guns, so they tripled the weapon roster, man. You know how much fun I had with the just the reflector, or I'm sorry, the reflexor that made the shots bounce on walls, jumping and spin kicking, and causing like hundreds of bullets to bounce around down fucking hallways. The fucking anti-gravity gun, the fucking lightning Vulcan cannon. Like with Jak 3, the guns were so big. The guns were so good in Jak 3, it's like they were actually competing with Ratchet and Clank. It's like, oh shit! You know, because the guns in Jak 2 were good, but they weren't on Ratchet and Clank levels. They got really creative in Jak 3. Exactly. Even like Light Jack. on the surface, it sounded like corny, but I love the look of Light Jack, where it's not just a standard light, it's like this mantis thing and ethereal, and I love how Jack 2, or Dark Jack, is like the fuck you beast mode, but Jack 3, Light Jack, was like a series of tools. Even the like the gliding, like learning how to like fly and timing it was so cool. Yeah. Fuck, they even managed to have just some Daxter missions in there that were really good. Like when you're controlling him in the volcano or riding the rocket, and those were cool. Or wrangling the fucking leapers. They even managed to bring back the fucking leapers from the first game in the desert town and the volcano. I was like, oh my god! And that, the fucking Dune Hopper, that giant car that can make those huge jumps in the grenade launcher, has got to be one of my favorite fucking car vehicles in any game ever. Fucking charging up and leaping like 50 feet into the air. Amazing. And the fucking grenade launcher, just ripping it, like, oh my god, dude. Like, those huge fucking jumps with nitrous. Like I said, gotta be one of my favorite cars in any game ever. Yeah, the rocket was hard. I will agree. It's still fun, though. Like, it wasn't hard in a bullshit way. For me, the mission that made me rage in Jak 3 was the turret sequence. When you're trying to go to Arrow's factory before the ship, like when you're controlling the guns in the ship. Just because that mission is so long, they reverse left and right, which really fucked with me. And, there's no fucking checkpoints. That mission pissed me off. That was the mission that really upsets me in Jak 3. I don't dislike it, but... And it's like, it's so fucking long, and you do not get a single fucking checkpoint. You basically do a tour of the whole fucking city. You know, and I actually play inverted. A lot of people give me shit for that, but I play inverted up down. But I don't do left and right. And having to adjust to that while also dealing with the hard as fuck stage. Oh my god. Yeah, like I didn't hate it, but I'm saying of all the missions in Jak 3, that was the one that fucked me the hardest. Oh shit, this boss stage, this is like an actual big ass stage. That's cool. They also use these to have more variety. Because you know, you have the standard 3D collectathons. I know how that feels getting so into a game like that. But they have the standard 3D collectathon stages that I like, but then they have time to have these more linear obstacle stages that are good too. And that's something I will give this game props for. The boss fights actually are pretty decent. Like, in most platforming games, the boss fights suck dick. Even in games I like Spyro, not a big fan of the bosses. But in this game, they're either a pretty decent boss fight or like a gauntlet to get to the boss. Like this, that is also good. So, you know, props to them for actually having decent boss battles in a genre that's not really known for them. Like, seriously, You know, I love platformers, but 9 times out of 10, platformer bosses kind of suck. You know what I mean? Because in most platforming games... Oh my god, so do I. I genuinely hope that this Days Gone Remastered will go well, and it will, Oh, okay, what do you mean by... Yeah, okay, I can see that. Well, Days Gone still counts. It's still a biker thing. But I'm genuinely hoping that the Days Gone Remastered will do well, and it will give Sony the kick in the ass it needs to greenlight Days Gone 2. Because, like I told you, and I'll tell anyone who can listen, Days Gone actually sold really well. It actually outsold the new God of War at launch. And I know you're not the biggest fan of it, but the new God of War sold really well. So, the fact that Days Gone sold really well, or to match that, was really good for a first-time IP. So, the only reason they didn't greenlight the sequel to Days Gone is not because it was bad or did sold poorly, but because critics savaged it in reviews. That's why. And honestly, fuck them. The game sold well, and it has a loyal fan base. You know how many people I've talked to that still fucking love Days Gone and play it all the time? That's all that matters. It sold well and the fans like it. I don't... Like, they basically canceled Days Gone 2 because IGN didn't like it. Fuck IGN. Like, that's what it was. It was the critic reviews. And I do not care. Exactly. Just last year, I went through it and I, platinumed it. And, apparently... Well, I said IGN, but it got a pretty big rebuking from most game critics at the time. It wasn't just IGN, unfortunately. Game Informer gave it a 7. Yeah, I agree. I don't like any modern game reviewers. At all. The only game company that I really used to like was Game Informer. And they went to shit, and now they're gone. When Liliana Rupert took over Game Informer, she fucking killed it. Like, she turned into fucking Kotaku. Yeah, GameRank's is pretty decent. Ah, come on. Oh well, not a big deal. So I don't really care what they have to say, but, so I'm saying Days Gone did well sales-wise. You know what I mean? And it's a low fan base. And actually, from what I was seeing, they're saying that Days Gone Remastered pre-orders, it's one of the most pre-ordered games on the PlayStation Store right now. Which, that's saying something. You know what I mean? So... I mean, they're competing up against a lot of pre-order games. So for Days Gone Remastered, being the top 10 most pre-order games for a fucking remaster, yeah, exactly. For a remaster of a game, is showing how much people still love Days Gone. So, it's my... They are biased. Yeah, they are. Honestly, most of Western games journalists are biased towards Eastern games and Eastern game devs. Oh shit. Like, they're constantly calling JRPGs and Japanese games outdated and saying they need to change. Like, fuck you. Okay? I don't need them to change. I like JRPGs. I like them how they are. What you want is to make them like Western RPGs. And there's nothing wrong with Western RPGs, but JRPGs don't need to be like Western RPGs. If I want to play Western RPG, I'll play a Western RPG. Like, they're outdated, you know? Or like, yeah. Yeah, exactly. They're Japanese as fuck. I remember seeing a bunch of game critics slamming the Tales of series and being like, "Oh, it needs to change." And I'm like, listen to me. If they change the formula on the Tales games, I will fucking kill you. Okay? There is no game series out there that's quite like the Tales of games. I want them to stay as they are. They can update the gameplay, okay? They need to keep the essence of them the same. Yes, it is. And thankfully, the Tales series seems to be understanding not to listen to those fucking people. Because, like, Tales of Arise was an overhaul, but it still felt like a Tales of game. You know what I mean? They didn't westernize it. So, they're obviously keeping to what they know and keeping the fans happy. And that's the most important thing. They don't give a fuck about the critics. Nor should they. Critics aren't the ones that pay your fucking rent. And I'm really happy because they actually said that they're going to be remastering a lot more of the Tales of games, and they strongly suggested they're going to be bringing a large amount of the Tales of games that have never come to the West. And holy shit. God, that was... Yes, exactly. Yeah, and censorship. Fuck censorship. But, I'm a huge Tales of fan. And it breaks my heart that half the games in the fucking series have never come to the West. So, if they actually started bringing the Tales of games to the West, I would lose my shit. You know, like, there's so many good Tales games that I wanted to play that are just not in the Western market. Yeah, the only thing I don't... I'm mostly for anti-censorship. The only thing I can't defend is, like, lolly shit. They need to get a grip on that. But, like, that's... Japan in general has a problem with pedophilia. And it's probably the only thing I don't like about Japan. You know, and if people don't understand, they're like, why do they have all this lolly shit? It's like, dude, until, what was it, 2022? The age of consent in Japan was 12? To them, it wasn't pedophilia, because it wasn't fucking illegal. And even now, I think there's this guy who did a bunch of popular animes or mangas, and I'm not... I'm not sure what his name was. I had never heard of him, but apparently he's of some note. And he recently was convicted. Yeah, but I mean, let's keep it real. They're meant to look like kids. Okay, it's like it's pedophilia adjacent. The goal is to make them look as much like little kids without them being little kids as they can, and it is kind of gross. And there's actually a ton of examples of them actually having characters that are minors that are explicitly sexualized. Yeah, but when you're sexually attracted to a kid that looks like they're 12, I wouldn't trust you around my kids or kids, you know. Fuck, I missed some of the watchers there. I gotta get those. That's just how you do it. But like I said, there are actually cases where they literally have minor characters that were sexualized. Like in Final Fantasy and classic games, some of the earlier games, they had characters that were literally underaged and kind of lewd. And they censored that, and I'm actually glad. Because they actually are minors. I mean, yeah, but it's kids. So, that's kind of where I draw the line. Because, it's kids. And if it's not actual kids, it's kids adjacent. Like I said, if you knew somebody is obsessed with women who look like small, prepubescent kids, and they jerked off to them, would you want to leave that person alone with your kid? It's like people who watch videos of animals fucking and get off to it, like actual dogs fucking. Is that a crime? No. But would you leave that person alone with your dog? Yes, and that is absolutely gross. I condemn that. I am not hypocritical about that at all. That's fucking gross. There is a sexualization problem with minors in Hollywood. Yeah, the whole problem needs to be reevaluated. I'm not just coming after Japan for that. There's a major problem with exploiting minors in their entertainment industry that needs to fucking stop. Or teens and movies being sexualized, and that's fucking gross. Like, Cuties. The people that made that movie need to be fucking arrested. Like, go straight to jail. Do not collect $200. Like, oh my god, that thing is so fucking gross. You know, my mom watched Cuties because I thought it was funny. Yeah, exactly. But it was funny because, you know, my mom had heard about the whole publicity thing about Cuties, and she thought, there's no way it can be that bad, so she watched it. Not because she's into that, but because my mother is, well, you know, like I said, she didn't think it was that bad. That it had to be overblown, because, you know, people get into a panic. And I remember after my mom watched it, she came to me, and she's like, no, they were right. This movie's fucking gross. And she said, the people need to be arrested. It's disgusting. And I've heard some people try to defend it. And be like, well, they're trying to say that sexualization of minors is bad. By sexualizing minors? And, you know, I knew there was a possibility. I knew there was a possibility that maybe it was, like, overblown all the time you see conservatives get into a tizzy over some shit. Like, Pokemon is gonna lead our youth to the devil. Like, I've seen that, and I thought, you know, maybe it's just overblown, you know, like, conservative panic. Because they do that shit. No! In that case, I 100% have to agree with them. That was fucked up. And the people that made that movie need to be fucking investigated, thrown to prison, and put on a fucking watch list. And then I remember them saying that in order to find the chicks for the roles, they interviewed over 5,000 young girls, and they had them, right? But they were saying that they interviewed over 5,000 little girls for the role. And that they had to twerk to audition for the role. And I'm like, so, you have footage of 5,000 underage girls doing sexual dances for the casting? I'm like, yeah. What is this, fucking Epstein Island 2.0? Jesus Christ. And yeah, you know, just like I've heard people, a classic retort that I've seen people go to, I will say that I don't think kids should be at drag shows. Or gay pride, like hardcore gay pride should be had around kids. And I stand by that because drag shows and gay pride are very sexual events. I have nothing wrong with gay people, but there's people walking around with basically their dick out in full bondage gear. You do you, and let your freak flag fly, not around kids. Okay, I wouldn't want anybody walking around my kids with full-on fucking bondage gear on. You keep that shit in the bedroom, man. Straight or gay, I don't care. But, and, you know, drag queen shows usually are sexual. Like, if you've ever actually seen a drag queen show, they're usually dancing provocatively. Really provocatively. Yeah, exactly. So kids should not be exposed to that. And I had that same energy for straight or gay. If it's sexual, keep it away from kids. Like, other than that, I don't fucking care. You know what I mean? Like, I have no problem with drag queens. I have no problem with gay people, bi people, whatever. Just don't do that shit around kids. Kids are innocent. They should stay innocent as long as we can make them. Okay? Because the world takes all of our innocence. Nobody stays innocent for long. So that short window of time when these kids are innocent and there's still the light that shines in their eyes should be fucking cherished and hold on to, not ruined ahead of its time. How long are they really going to stay innocent anyway? Okay, so it's like, they don't need you speeding up the process, man. Yeah, that's also a fair criticism. I don't think kids should see. Yeah, that's also fair. Kids should watch what their kids watch. I don't think that has a place around kids either. Of course, I watched a lot of adult stuff when I was a kid, but I honestly think that's kind of different. I was actually something of a kid prodigy, and I had a IQ way higher than most kids my age. I actually was more mature, and one size does not fit all. You know what I mean? Yeah. But what I was trying to say is a common retort when people mention they don't want drag queens around their kids. Like, these are the same people who watch little teen pageants. I'm like, no, dog. I got a problem with that too. Those kid beauty pageants are fucking gross, and they need to stop. Like, I'm not advocating for those either. They're fucking gross. So it's like, it's not the gotcha that you think it is. And everybody knows that that's not for the kids, that's for the moms who are fucking weird. Trying to vicariously live through your children is just gross. And it almost never goes well. Look at fucking Honey Boo Boo. God, I feel so bad for her. Everybody made fun of her and she's a laughing stock, okay? But at the end of the day, her problems were pretty much due to the people around her not taking care of her. Oh, she's fat. Oh, she's overweight. Yeah, who's giving her fucking Red Bull and Mountain Dew at like 6? That's her mom. Can't really blame her for that when she's 6. Okay? And, like, I found out there's a lot of fucked up shit going on in the house. She basically, Mama June, I think is her name, had her kids around a fucking sex offender. So there's a really good chance that those kids were being fucking molested. It's like, you know, and, like, people watch that shit go on, and it's like, they were appalled. Everybody, you know, everyone I saw watch that movie, or show, I'm sorry, was appalled or whatever, but not enough to try and help her. She didn't need to be laughed at. She needed fucking help. You know, and it's sad because she's a fucking laughingstock and she can't really be blamed for any of that shit. It's her mom's fault. Her mom didn't educate her, which is why she sounded stupid, and her mom made her overweight by giving her shit you should never give a fucking kid. Yeah, exactly. I mean, my mom likes RuPaul, but she would have never let me watch that shit when I was like 5, because their dresses are really sexual, and they're basically burlesque dances. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? Let your freak flag fly, but you should not have kids around you sitting there rubbing up on people. Like, I saw a little kid at a drag show put a $5 bill down a drag dancer's pants. And, like, that is unfucking acceptable. Oh my god. The little kid just had their hand around your dick. What the fuck? Like, who thought this was okay? But bad enough watching, it's like, Jesus Christ. You know, and a lot of those, like, super SJWs were like, oh, it's the conservatives getting a panic. You're making them right. You're proving their point. Stop. You know what I'm saying? No, some people shouldn't be parents. I agree. Every kid deserves a parent. Not every parent deserves a kid. And I can honestly say that I'm a lot luckier there in a lot of places. I've had a lot of bad things in my life. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've had a lot of problems that other people don't have. Mental illness, physical illness, rough childhood. But one thing I've always been lucky to have was a mom and dad who are not perfect, but who genuinely love me. And a lot of people don't have that. And that's one of the things in my life that I've been blessed to have. You know, and to see what true love is. Nowadays, most people, marriage doesn't last. But when my mom and dad have been dating for 31 years, and they'll be married for 30 years this year. 1994 they started dating. 95 they got married. 96 they had me and my sister. So in that time, my mom and dad have never wavered. My dad and my mom has never cheated on each other. They've never loved anyone else. So my entire life, I was lucky enough to see what true love was. And true care, you know what I mean? Whereas most kids, their dad's not around, or their parents broke up, or their mom, you know what I mean? Marriage doesn't mean shit anymore. But I was always able to look. Oh god, that's a lot of siblings. I hardly was able to keep up the one I have. I'd fucking kill myself. I'm just kidding. But I was always able to see what true love looks like. You know? Where my dad just, he literally, he sees nobody else but my mother. You know what I mean? There is no one else for him. The moment that she walked into his life, that was it. He loved her and only her. He never so much as even wanted somebody else. I mean, unceasingly. He loved her and cherished her and has her whole fucking life. And would take a fucking bullet for her. And she would do anything for him. So at the very least, I was able to know what love was. Real love. You know? And just having that as an example. You know? And I know a lot of women, a lot of men go astray with people they date because they don't know what real love is. So they're in some kind of fucked up relationship and they think, oh, he loves me, because they haven't seen real love to compare it to. And I've had a lot of fucked up relationships. But I can say I've never made the same mistake twice. You know, I'll date somebody and they'll be crazy. I'll learn. And then if I date somebody and they're crazy, it'll be a different kind of crazy. I don't just date the same fucking people. It just depends on what you mean. I know I'm cynical, I know I make jokes, but ultimately I believe in love with all my heart. I'm a romantic. Oh shit, there it is. Fuck. Like I said, I know I've seen Jaded, but when it comes to that, I'm really romantic at heart. I believe in love, in true love. Yeah, exactly. I agree. I completely agree. A lot of people get lust fused with love or like. You don't really love someone unless you would die for them. Unless their well-being literally matters more than your own. That's what love is. Being willing to take a fucking bullet for something. For someone. I would take a bullet for my mother. I would take a bullet for my father. I would take a bullet for my friends. My true friends. Like, you better believe if somebody tried to hurt you around me, they'd have to fucking go through me to get to you. That is a fucking fact. Somebody tried to hurt my mother, I put them in the fucking ground. And I wouldn't think twice about it either. Same for Max. And Alex, you know, I felt that way about Steph till he fucked me over. But I consider love to be unconditional, but I consider there's time to walk away. I want nothing but good things for Steph. He kept fucking up, kept hurting me, and letting me down, and I don't want to be around somebody. Yeah, exactly, there you go. I don't want to be around somebody that keeps hurting me, you know? And it's a bit different when somebody's treating me like shit, you know what I mean? It's not the same as bailing on somebody. There's a time to walk away. I will always have fond feelings for Steph. I hope he does well in life, but I cannot depend on him. I cannot trust him. And I won't have somebody in my inner circle that I cannot trust or depend on. I just won't. And I gave him like 3 fucking chances where he fucked me over. And it's a long story, and one of these days I'll tell you the whole story. Okay, and the last time I gave him another chance, I told him, I said, if you fuck me again, I will never speak to you again. I said, I will be done with you. So, he had fair warning. I didn't just, all of a sudden, I don't want to be your friend. It's like, how many chances am I supposed to give somebody? And you know me, I'm not one of those people who, you do something I don't like, we're not friends. It takes a pretty major slight for me to be like, fuck you. It wasn't like, he spilled coffee on me. And I don't care what he says. Him saying that shit about Majin, was to hurt me. Okay? He can say, well, I didn't mean to. I don't fucking care. I don't believe him. He knew that Majin not being my friend upset me. I told him that I felt rejected and abandoned because Majin was my friend. I cared a lot about Majin, and then he just stopped talking to me. I would go months without hearing from him, and I asked him, I said, is it me? Do you just not want to be my friend anymore? And I told, he's like, no, I'm just busy. And finally, very painfully, I accepted that he no longer wanted to be my friend. And as much as I cared about Majin, you can't make somebody be your friend. You can't. But it really hurt me because I was never anything but good to him. I always had his back. And it just hurt like hell because I really thought he was genuinely my friend. And, and it was like a double reveal because, one, I had told Steph how much I cared about Majin and how much it hurt. And had mentioned it in the Discord before that it really hurt me. And 2, I had never known that Majin was basically talking bad about me behind my back. Because if he had a problem with how I treated Steph, which you saw how I treat Steph, I jokingly teased him. That was the extent of it. I didn't pick on him. But if he had a problem, he never fucking mentioned it to me. Even though I asked him, I said, is it a problem? Is it me? So, despite all of our friendship, despite me directly asking him the question, despite me being upfront, as you know me to be, and he's like 37, he couldn't just give me a straight fucking answer. He chose the pussy route. And, well, fuck him. You know, and, I don't talk bad about people's backs, behind people's backs. You know, I'm talking about Steph right now. I would say every single thing that I'm saying to you right now to Steph's face, and I did. You know what I mean? I am not one of those people, well, I just stopped talking to you. You will know if I have a problem with you. I will tell you. Don't do this. This thing that you did upset me. Okay? You don't ever have to wonder, oh, are we okay? If I have a problem with you, I'm gonna fucking tell you immediately. I am very, very upfront. And that's how I feel like a man should be. Hold on, let me see what you're saying all the way. I didn't see all of what you said. Just give me 1 second. Loading up the app. Fucking YouTube. Oh, man. That sucks. I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Yeah, she could have told you, or don't, like, commit to something like that, you know what I mean? What the fuck? It'll happen. It'll happen eventually. If you have time, you know? Men are basically fertile till we die. That's one of the advantages we have over women. Well, you know what I mean. Biologically, you're a male, so you have time. As much as it sucks, I'm just saying you can see the silver lining there. Ugh. And yeah, she could just tell you she had a problem. That's what I'm saying. You don't ever have to wonder, oh, is he friends with me? Are we okay? I will tell you if we have problems. Immediately. 1,000,000 fucking %. And I expect the same. You know, I've told you, I told Majin, I told Steph, I told everyone, if you have a problem with me, just come talk to me. And we will sort it out like adults. You know what I'm saying? Do not feel free to come to me if you have a problem with me. It's like, I told you, Steph, he went straight to the nuclear option. If he had just told me, hey, could you lay off on the gay jokes? I would have stopped right then and there. In fact, yeah, exactly. In fact, if you read the chat logs, as soon as he said that it was too much, I said, oh, hey, Max, let's take it to your DMs. So, after he said something, I immediately responded and said, okay, let's talk privately, Max, so you can make whatever jokes that won't offend him. And listen to him. And then he said that shit about Majin. Like, I was in the process of quitting when he did that. And if you paid attention, you can tell my attitude immediately shifted when he said that shit about Majin. And I told him, I said, you're an asshole for saying that. Up until then, I wasn't upset that he told me that the gay jokes were too much or whatever. I said, oh, okay, and I made a joke, and I was going to leave and talk to him privately. So I didn't cross his boundaries. It was when he said that shit about Majin that my attitude changed and I got genuinely upset. Because that was a shitty thing to say. And me making gay jokes, it's just me trying to tease Steph. I was never trying to hurt him. Him saying that was designed to fucking hurt me. It was vindictive. There's a big difference between accidentally hurting somebody and doing something out of spite. And like I said, there's no way he did not know that would fucking hurt me. And you know what? I even told Max this. Max is like, well, maybe Majin did say that. I'm like, okay. I believe Steph. I believe Majin did say that. But he said it in that moment to weaponize it. He was shouting, he was talking in all caps in the chat. He was like, enough with the fucking jokes. Okay? So maybe Majin did say that, and I believe that he did. But him waiting until then to say that was him weaponizing that to fucking hurt me. I haven't talked to Majin since December. So he sits on that for almost 3 months, and then he just so happens to say that right when we're in an argument and he's pissed off. And I'm supposed to believe that, oh, it's just coincidence that there was nothing malicious there or targeted. That was absolutely fucking targeted. I'm not a fucking idiot. Like, he could say it wasn't all in one. Like, proof's in the fucking pudding. Yeah, exactly. You know, and I could maybe understand Steph being angry, right? If we, like, singled him out or some shit. We never did. We all made jokes about that, okay? That's the thing about Max. He constantly makes gay jokes. It's not you, it's not me, it's not Steph. He makes gay jokes to everybody. So, like, maybe if, like, we were just saying that to pick on Steph, I could understand him getting butthurt about it, but Max is like that to everybody. He makes gay jokes about me, I just laugh it off. I don't get fucking sensitive about it. Or, like, he acts like the only time I talk to him is to make gay jokes. Once again, not fucking true. At all. He got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and he was, like, so excited about that because he likes that game, and apparently it's made by a Czech developer. Which, okay, you know, Czech is not... You don't get a lot of Czech games, so... I understand, you know, get excited, rep your home country. And every day I'm like, how's Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 doing? You know what I'm saying? I talked to him about all kinds of stuff. It's not my fault that every time he talked, he was talking about the same shit. I mean, he wants to talk about not knowing when to quit. Every time I talked to that kid, it was him talking about crazy bitch this, him talking about crazy bitch that. It's all he ever fucking talked about. And he literally... Exactly. Like, every conversation that we fucking had with him... Oh, this crazy chick did this. Oh, this crazy chick did that. And it's the same chick. You know what I mean? Like, he was, well, you may not have known, you weren't as active in the Discord, but every day he would talk about the same shit. And he bored us all to fucking tears with it. We were all like, dude, just block her. And he just refused to block her. Every day was a new story. And we're all tired, and we're all telling him we're tired. And he's still doing it. We put up with it. So it's like, you can sit there and fucking make our ears bleed talking about the same bitch. But, and I'm not calling her, all women a bitch. She was a bitch. She's crazy. She was legitimately crazy. It's like, we were all tired of hearing about that shit. We were all begging you to fucking stop. And unlike him, I actually told him, like, dude, you've got to talk about something else, man. I'm like, please, I'm begging you. You're killing me. And on top of that, it became a problem for the entire group. Because nobody else wanted to talk about his crazy ex-girlfriend or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he would just come into the chat and demolish the fucking chat. It would go silent. So, like, we're all having a good time. And we're all talking about this and that, you know? And the problem with him, and what pissed me off, is he only talked about his shit. See what I mean with the frame rate drops? Jesus Christ. Let me back out to the fucking main menu and see if that fixes it. Like, he only talks about himself, okay? I've told you, I've told Max, I've told everyone else, that if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here. You can reach out to me anytime, day or night. I wish I could do more, but I always try to do what I can for you. I'll always be there to listen to you, okay? But the thing about that, the important thing about that, is that it has to go both ways. Okay? I'm there for you, you're there for me. That's how it works. With Steph, he was always talking about his shit, his problems, his issues, and he was never there to talk about anybody else's. And on top of that, another problem with Steph is there are times when he would just say the dumbest fucking shit that would just be so bafflingly, like, tactless, I would be stunned. Okay? Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm trying to... Okay, so Max, if you're not aware, his granddad died. I think you did talk to him about it. Just making sure. But his granddad died. He was very close to his granddad. It really devastated him. Okay, and on top of which, he had to move to his grandfather's house and, like, clean up his house and all that shit. So it kind of upended his whole fucking world. And, you know, he makes jokes, he laughs, and all that. But, he's really hurting because of that, you know? Maybe he doesn't say it, but he's hurting. You know, and as somebody I've lost my grandmother, she was murdered, and I was super close to her. I can relate to it intimately. You know? I mean, it's not the same situation, but I know what it's like to lose a grandparent that you love. So I get what he's coming from, and I get how much it hurts. And he lost his grandpa very suddenly. His grandfather went in for a surgery that he was supposed to survive, and died as complications from the surgery. Okay, so it wasn't like, well, he thought he was going to die, and he made peace with him. He died very suddenly. It was like 1 second he's there, and the next second he's gone. It's heartbreaking. And my grandma also died suddenly. So I get it, you know, it sucks. And you know, we're all comforting him. We're saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss." We're all there, you know, trying to do the best we can to make him feel better. Obviously, we can't make the hurt go away, you know. And I was checking in on him every day. Every day he was gone, I would pop into his inbox and say, "Hey, I'm just checking to make sure you're okay. I hope you're all right. I'm here to talk to you." You know, just all that I could do to let him know that I cared. Because I feel like as my friend, that's the least that I could do. Jesus, I'm sorry. Okay, and then... so we're all sitting there in the Discord, right? And we're talking about it. And then... after, you know, Max tagged everyone and told them what had happened, why he was gone. So he just vanished, we're all worried about him. It's not like him to just disappear. Yeah, exactly. It's not like Max to disappear, you know? even if he'll only pop up to say hi, he'll usually check in once a day, so he just didn't pop up for like a week, and I'm like, worried something was wrong, which obviously it was. So he popped in to let everyone know when he could what had happened. And, like, I'll never forget it. Like I said, you know, I hope you're okay, fuck, I'm sorry, I'm here for you, yada 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 yada. And so did most people. Steph comes in, and he says, damn, I hope you aight though. That's what he said. And I didn't say anything at the time, because I didn't want to cause a scene, and I didn't want to make it about me, but I remember being fucking gobsmacked by that response. Like, stupefied. I remember thinking, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I didn't want to cause a scene and cause drama and add on to his despair right after that. You know? But I remember thinking, like, oh my god. Did he really just say that? And that was the last that he ever mentioned it. He never talked to him about his granddad ever again. He never brought it up. He never checked on him and asked him if he said it was okay. You know? And I want you to understand something. Max was always fucking great to Steph. He talked to him every day. He was probably the person in the group that talked to Steph as much as I did. Steph would talk to a bunch of people, but it was me and Max that would talk to him the most. And every time, this is like the third time me and Steph have had the outs, okay? Twice now, he fucked me over. Long story, I'll go into it sometime. And I kicked him out of the group. And every single time that I did that, Max would go to bat for Steph. Like, he would say, I understand why you're upset, because I didn't just kick him out for no reason. He was being pretty shitty. And even Max agreed with me that he was being shitty. But he was like, he deserves another chance, he makes mistakes. So, not only did Max talk to him, he went to bat for him. And I told him that. I told him, well, you know, Max went to bat for you. Okay? So this is a guy that's talked to Steph every day for like a year. That is... checked in on him if he's okay, that listened to endless fucking rants about his girlfriends. Even though Max was just as tired of it as I did, he still listened and gave him advice as much as he could. Even though Steph didn't listen, didn't take the advice, he was still there. And his fucking granddad dies. His whole life is thrown into chaos. This guy that's been your friend, this guy that's been there for you, and all you can say in his fucking hour of need, when he is resuming his whole life, moving across the state, or the country, whatever, Australia, is, damn, I hope you alright though. Like, I never forgave him for that. And Max said, well, he's like, oh, I wasn't really bothered by that. I was, and I still am. Like I said, this is one of the people that had been there for him the most. And just not even the tiniest bit of fucking concern for his well-being. I don't want somebody like that around me. I just don't. And, you know, he's like, I confronted him about it, too. Because, you know, I told him, every time I kicked Steph from the group, I told, you know, Max he could still talk to him. I mean, not like I give him permission, but I never wanted him to feel like I was saying either or, you know what I mean? I never wanted him to feel, you know, like he had to make a choice, just because I didn't want to talk to him. Doesn't mean that Max could. I'm not going to try to control him. But I told him, I said, you know, Max can continue talking about you, but I'm like, Max deserves a better friend than you. And I stand by that. You know? And then, honestly, it makes me mad, even not talking about it. Because he, like I said, Max was such a good friend to Steph. Whenever he fucking needed him. You know, and it just shows how fucking stupid Steph was. Yeah. No, I'm sure he does. Max is just not the type of person to talk about himself a lot, you know what I mean? So it's not you. He just deals with things on his own. But I am sure it makes you feel better. I'm sure it makes him feel better knowing he can talk to you. He deals with that shit internally, just how he processes. But I'm sure he appreciated it. Plus, he just takes a while to get comfortable with people. Like, it took me a while to get him to be comfortable with me. I've known him for 2 years, 3 years now? And I didn't know any personal details about his life until I known him for, like, well over a year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So, it's not you. I am prideful, yeah, I agree. I suffer that problem too. %. I gotcha. I don't like looking weak. You know, so like, once again, bringing it back to Steph, he would be like, well, you didn't tell me that you're having a hard time. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't often talk about it. You know, and on top of which, if I did, you'd be too busy talking about your fucking shit. You know, and I told Steph that he has his priorities fucked. And I meant that, and I do, and I hope one day he can learn, because he only saw the bad, or not even the bad, what he perceived to be the bad. Because he saw Max teasing him and giving him a hard time. Okay? But he just totally missed all of the times when Max went above and beyond to be his friend. You know, all the times Max would listen to him bitch about his girl when... I think I've heard the song Loyalty. I'll look it up and make sure I'm vaguely familiar with it. After this stream, I'll look it up. See if I'm thinking of the same song or not. But, you know what I'm saying? So, he didn't see all the times that Max went out of his way to talk to Steph and give him advice about these chicks. Even when he was bored to tears of listening, and he still listened. Because he cared about Steph. I'll have to listen to it, yeah. Well, maybe I'll like it then. I have a wide taste in music. But, you know what I'm saying? Even though he bored Steph to tears, he still listened. Because he knew it was important to, you know, that anytime... Yeah. Anytime he needed somebody to talk to, Max was there. Anytime he needed to vent, Max was there. You know, anytime I was hard on Steph because he pissed me off, he was going to bat for him and saying, you know, oh, he didn't mean it, oh, give him another chance. And he did it when it mattered the most, when nobody was there to see. You know what I mean? He was good to Steph all the time. Not just when he was around. And always had his back and took his side and tried to say, well, you know, just give him the benefit of the doubt. Like a good friend really does. And all he could see is, well, he's busting my chops. And I'm like, you know, and it's such a shame because that's all you choose to see. Because if you just take just a little bit and you look, you really fucking look. Max was the best friend that he could ever fucking hope for. And people will be lucky to have a friend like Max. I'm lucky to have a friend like Max. I really appreciate that. And it goes the same way. Yeah, absolutely. 1,000,000%. I've never talked bad about you behind your back. Everything I've said to you, I'll said to your face. Everything I've said about you when you're not there is what I would say to your face. And almost, I don't think I've ever said anything bad about you. I was a bit mad at you when you stopped talking to me for ages, but I didn't know you fucking went to, you know, to jail. So that kind of changed my perspective. And you really can't blame me for being upset about that when I didn't know the full story. If I just randomly stopped talking to you for like a year or like 2 years, and you didn't know why, you'd be upset at me too, and you'd feel betrayed. So once you explained what had happened, I instantly was like, oh, okay. And I talked about you a couple times. And I said that I felt really sad that you stopped talking to me. But I wasn't like, oh, you're a fucking shitty person. Because, you know, when you first started popping up my streams, like, we talked every day, you know? At that time, you weren't even in my Discord. Well, you were later, but at the time, you weren't even really. You just talked every day, and it's like, I got used to having you in my life, you know? And then all of a sudden, you just stopped talking to me, and I just, no warning. It's like, I was used to you being there every day, and then suddenly you weren't there at all. And I reached out to you a bunch of times in your Discord, and like, are you okay? Do you not want to talk to me? And I was just hurt. Like I said, you know, I didn't know. I didn't know. It's not really your fault. Really hard to reach out to people. You know, when you're in that situation. I don't blame you. At all. You were, you know, in a shit situation. I'm just saying, at the time, when I didn't know better, it just felt like you just said, fuck me, you know? So, but other than that, I haven't had any problems with you. And like I said, and I consider you, that's not your fault either. I'm sure he knows the truth. And understands. And the good news is you can be there for his kid now, you know? Like, it's not like you missed his whole life. honestly, he probably won't even remember the time that you weren't there, you know what I mean? So you have plenty of opportunities to make it up to both of them. And that's what matters. Ah, shit. Yeah, I'm probably gonna die. No, no. Oh, shit. Save. But yeah. I would say, I would say you, Max, Emily, I'm sure she doesn't hold it against either. You were in a bad situation. Like I said, I wouldn't beat yourself up over it. And I don't see how anybody who really cared about you could. I mean, yeah, it's not ideal. Yeah, it sucks, but at the end of the day, you were just defending yourself. What can you like? Anybody who would hold that against you doesn't really care about you. And they don't deserve your friendship at all. You were dealt a shit hand. And obviously, bad things happen, you miss certain things. That's not on you. I don't think it is. You know, but you know better now. You know, it's a mistake that you won't make again. You know, it's not how you fall that matters. It's how you pick yourself back up. You're not going to make the same mistake. You're not going to, you know, do the same thing. You learned from what happened. Everybody makes mistakes. It's how they learn from those mistakes, or they don't learn from those mistakes, that decides how they are as a person. I firmly believe that the path to virtue is built by failure. I don't think that anybody can just be good. I think you have to fuck up and you have to make mistakes to learn how to be good. And, you know, unless you're literally Jesus Christ, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna fuck up. You know, and for me, it's, I mean, obviously I have the want to do good. I have the desire to do good. But also, just as much as I had that desire to do good, I also had that desire to not fuck up. That I would not have if I hadn't fucked up. You know, like, failure can be a powerful motivator. And I don't think you can really succeed in this life until you've failed. If you've never fucked up, if you've never, yeah, don't we all wish? Just get Scritch's foods. But if you don't fuck up, you can't really know what it's like to do right. You know, if everything is handed to you on a silver platter and you never fail, then you don't appreciate any of it. like, yeah, I, of course I want to do good. I want to be a good person. And that is a motivator. But also, I think about how disappointed my mother was in me when I fucked up, when I hurt her. You know? How bad it felt when I let somebody down that I cared about. That sickening feeling of knowing that I hurt them, that they were hurting and I was to blame. And I didn't ever want to make my mother feel like that again. And that is just as much of a powerful motivator in my life for change. You know, I never want to hurt her. And you can't really do good until you've done some bad. And I'm not saying that like as an excuse or justification, or be a serial killer. But I'm saying you can't really know what it is to be good unless you fucked up and you've done bad. Everybody falls down. Everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes. But what separates good people from bad people is a learning from that mistake and not doing it again. Being better. I don't think that we can ever be perfect, but we can always be better. I am constantly striving to improve myself, my knowledge, my skills, everything. To the point where I'm almost never satisfied because I'm constantly trying to improve. And I believe that even if you can't be perfect, because nobody can be perfect, there is greatness in the striving for being perfect, in reaching. Even if you don't make it to the stars, there is glory to be had in reaching for them. And trying. Because it's something that I've learned in my life that nobody taught me, is that sometimes in life, the things that you don't do can hurt just as much as the things that you did do. Not telling somebody you love them how important they were to you. Not stepping up for somebody you cared about when it mattered. And say you try to be the best at something. And you fail. And there's a good chance that you will fail because, obviously, of all the people in their field trying to be the best, only a few are going to make it. But at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, when the cards are on the table, when your life has run its course, even if you didn't make it to the top, you can look back and you can say, I gave it everything I had. I tried. If I failed, if I didn't make it, it was not for lack of trying. I gave it my all. Okay? And if you didn't try, you're going to look back at the end of your life and you're going to be so disappointed. And I'm not perfect. Lord knows I am not perfect. But you know what? I am trying. I am trying to be better. Yeah, exactly. Well, you've already succeeded there. Your life is worth a damn to me. I care about you. But I understand the feeling. I just want to, leave the world a better place when I left. I just want to be remembered fondly. I just want to make a difference. Somehow. Leave the place a little bit better when I left than when I came in. That's all you can hope for. Yeah, like I said, and that's what's important to me. try. And that... Oh, God. Looping it back around to Steph again. He didn't try. He just refused. You know, I told him, like, he one of the things that drew me to Steph is he had OCD real bad. And as you know, I have severe OCD. Pretty much like the worst case OCD you can have. That's not a flex. That's like the truth. And Steph has OCD. And when I was a kid, I had a real bad time. Because my OCD is not... It's not the typical OCD. It doesn't manifest the same way. So until I was like 17, I didn't know I even had OCD. I just knew I was fucked up and I didn't know how. Or what, you know what I mean? And I had nobody to help me. And my parents, they tried, they weren't good at it. So, you know, I saw Steph and he came into my streams. You know, I didn't know his age when I first started talking to him. I'm not looking for kid friends or whatever. And once I added him to Discord, then I found out he was 15, and I liked him as a friend. And I kind of took him under my wing. And I thought, you know, I could be the guy for him that was never there for me, you know? To guide him through that and be there to help him and give him stuff, and that he wouldn't have to suffer like I did. And I gave him, like, all of this advice and all this shit. And he just never took any of it. Broke my heart. You know, like, he just like, oh, I can't stop overthinking. And that's something I'm intimately familiar with. I just told him you just have to think about something else. And I tried to give him, like, techniques to help him. And he's like, it just doesn't work for me. And I'm like, because you're not fucking trying, man. And he's like, you say it like so easy. And I'm like, no. I said it. Right? I said it like it was doable, and it is. Okay? Yeah. I have to work at it all the time. Oh, all the time. If I'm not constantly keeping my head clear. Yeah, some people can't be helped, unfortunately. If I'm not constantly keeping my head clear, my head is overwhelmed with unwanted thoughts. It takes work. It's almost like a meditation. You know what I'm saying? Keeping the thoughts out. And it sucks. And there's times when it's tiring. But it works. And only through doing that have I been able to get some semblance of a fucking life. Because before, I was a mess. I couldn't function. You know, and I'm trying to tell him, I'm like, well, you know, it's not going to be easy. It's going to fucking suck. But you can do it. I believe in you. And it's not that he failed. You know what I'm saying? It's that he wouldn't try. He just said, well, I can't do it. And he's constantly coming to us and he's complaining about anxiety. And we're trying to help him. We're telling him, don't think about it. Think about something else. Do something else. He's like, I can't. I'm like, you really can. You know? You know, and I have some sympathy for him because he's 15. I understand he makes mistakes, and Emily was telling me that. She's like, oh, he's 15. I'm like, okay, I get that, but it's like, being 15 isn't a free pass to fuck me over. She keeps fucking me over. Alright, it was really great having you here. I hope you have a great day. I'll be around probably later today if you want to join or just talk to me. I hope you know that I always care about you. You're probably one of my best friends in the entire world, and you matter to me. So don't ever think that you don't matter. You matter to me a whole lot, and I'm grateful for your friendship every day. I just want you to know that. And I think you're one of the greatest people that I've had the honor of knowing. You're not perfect, but I wouldn't change you for anything. I like you just the way you are. None of us are perfect. But yeah, I hope you have a good night. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't say anything like that. That's cool. He's wearing pseudo armor. One second, I'm gonna end this part and I'll be back.